You know, in the 80s and 90s, when I attended the Kingdom Hall, it was very interesting. The memorial partakers were actually declining. They had gone down to some 7,900. And this was to be expected since the heavenly calling had stopped in 1935. Now, in 1935, there were some 52,000 plus partakers of the memorial emblems. The reason why I'm bringing this up is let's do some simple math. Now, the people who were partaking in 1935 likely were at least 20 years old, so they were born right around 1914, 1915, in that neck of the woods. Now let's jump to 2017's yearbook. There were over 18,000 partakers. Oh, what is this telling us? Well, if you take the 52,000 and you add the 18,000, the 52,000 from 1935, the 18,000 from 2016, you end up with a number of right around 70,000. What? Well, there's only 144,000 going to heaven, according to Witness belief structure, according to your theology, a theology that I one time ascribed to, that I followed at one time. That means that from the death of Jesus in the first century to the great apostasy, as it is called, the Nicene Council, there were only 70,000 faithful people. And we have to understand that through the years, as the Watchtower brought out, from the great apostasy up until Charles Taze Russell, that there were always at least a witness on earth. Wow. So you're going to tell me that only 144,000 is going to heaven now. The math simply, people, does not add up. Do it for yourselves. The math is not adding up. Now, this is irrelevant of the date 1914. The 1914, of course, anyone who knows history knows that Jerusalem did not fall in 587 or in 607 BCE. It fell in 586, 587. Do your research there. I'm not going to hold people's hands. But use your thinking capacity, Jehovah's Witnesses. A lot of your theology, a lot of your doctrinal points are based on this 1914, this anointed class, and of course the anointed class leads to the governing body, which is not even a scriptural basis. Type in governing body in a CD-ROM or check it out, and there is no term governing body. But that's entirely beside what I'm bringing out. What I'm bringing out is math does not add up. Not unless you start changing math. So what's going on here? Wake up, people. Now, I'll be very truthful. When I came into the organization, I studied. Back in '79 when I was first contacted by a pioneer brother. Back in Buckeye Lake, Ohio, where I was living. Had I had the internet, I doubt that I would have even come into the organization because I have found so much erroneous. But I do a lot of research. Jehovah's Witnesses, the only way you're going to wake up is if you choose to. You can choose to remain, it's a little bit like an alcoholic. You know, the alcoholic must admit that they have a problem before they can be assisted. Jehovah's Witnesses, if you can't see the inconsistencies, math does not lie. There's no way you can have 18,000 memorial partakers in 2017 and 52,000 in 1935 and have a total group of only 144,000. It simply cannot be done. Simply mathematically cannot be done. Historically, it remains inaccurate. Come on, wake up. Question. I know you view the governing body as the same thing as God Almighty. Question. Even Jesus encouraged questioning. He didn't turn him aside. He didn't say, oh, you're wrong. Don't worry about what I'm teaching. It'll all be shown out. No, he encouraged it. Question. This is one of the things you must question. Peace and be safe.